from South Africa and we have an absolute obsession with chutney. We serve it with absolutely anything, leftover cold meat, cheese, sandwiches, you name it. So today I'm going to show you how to do a curried tomato chutney. This makes a wonderful gift for Christmas, so you can start making it now and it'll be ready to give to your friends and family on Christmas Day. Much, much nicer to give someone a bottle of homemade chutney or jam rather than, the normal bottle of wine that you're probably going to give to them anyway, or maybe recycled it from last year. Forget who gave you what bottle of wine. So to make your tomato chutney, the only laborious bit of this is to actually skin and chop up the tomatoes. So that's just a little bit of elbow grease doing that. Now chutneys actually work better with slightly underripe fruit. People tend to think of chutneys as using up leftover fruits and vegetables that they might maybe had an excess of. So slightly underripe tomato, and we want to skin it. So you would normally just make a little score across the top of the skin, plunge it in boiling water and the skin will peel back and you can just peel the whole thing off. But to make our life easier for this particular recipe, because it's going to cook anyway, we're going to take that a little bit further. See, for a salsa, you don't want the tomato to become waterlogged. As I said, we're going to cook this anyway, so it doesn't matter. Take a sharp little knife and just hull out the core, and then with the same knife, score right the way across. As I said, we're taking it a little bit further today because we want to speed up the process. And what you'll do is just in some boiling water, pop your tomato and give it a couple of minutes or so, and then we're going to lift it out and you'll be able to peel off the skin. Really, really easy. I'm lucky, I have a steam oven, so I just popped in loads of tomatoes into the steam oven and that's done it for me. Now depending on how ripe the tomato is, the quicker it will peel away. The riper it is, the quicker it will peel. And you can see there that the skin is lifting away. Now that's really, really hot. So just let that cool down and then peel away the skin and roughly chop up the tomato. We're going to leave the seeds in for this. So just leave it over there. So tomato chutney, really, really simple to make. One of the easiest ones to make, I think. Take your 2 kgs of roughly chopped tomatoes, pop them into a pot. Some fairly coarsely diced onions. Chutneys typically involved onion, sugar, vinegar, and spice of some description, but this is very pared down. So this tomato and onion mixture, we are going to simmer away rapidly for about 20 minutes until it thickens up and starts to soften. Then we're going to add a good pinch of salt, curry powder, white wine vinegar, and sugar, and cook it down for another further hour and a half to 2 hours. So it's completely different to making a jam, is that a chutney does take a little bit more TLC and time and effort. You'll know when it's ready because it'll be really thick and very shiny, really, really glassy, and you need to keep on stirring it so it doesn't catch to the bottom of the pot. So it is well worth your while investing in some really good quality stainless steel pots. So I'm just going to mind this chutney and get it going and let it simmer down, and I'll be back to you in a sec to show you with the finished result. So as you can see, our chutney is reduced down a lot and it's really thick and shiny and glassy, and that means it's ready to be bottled. So I've put a lot of hints and tips on how to bottle your chutneys successfully on the website topfruit.com, but just to give you a quick run through, just going to mime it, is that you're going to wash out your jam jar or your preserve jar really, really well in hot soapy water. I have a lovely Kilner jar here. This just looks much nicer for Christmas time as your festive foodie gift. And then to dry it out and make sure it's completely sterilized, you pop it into an oven at 150 degrees and for 10 minutes, and that will sterilize it and dry it. So ideally, this isn't hot, so it's easier for me to handle. I'm just going to mimic it. Everything needs to be hot when you're bottling. This, I find, is the most successful way to do it. It means nothing's going to go off and you get a good few months out of your chutney. I mean, typically a chutney you should be able to keep for years because the vinegar and the sugar is going to preserve it if you've managed to bottle it successfully. So my chutney is piping hot. Let's pretend my jam jar is piping hot. And you can get little wax paper circles that you can pop on the surface of your jam or chutney. I find that's not really necessary if you do it this way. So piping hot, my jam jar should be hot. Click it down and give it a good seal. And that's it. And when it's completely cooled down, you can stick your lovely label on it, addressed to any friend or family member or colleague, and have a merry, merry Christmas this year with my curried tomato chutney from South Africa.